When Gary Heavin was in his early 30s, he was divorced, had spent some time in jail, and was looking at $5 million of debt. Well, since then, he's become a Guinness record-holding businessman who now believes in giving back.
Gary and Diane Heavin are the founders of the largest fitness chain in the world, Curves International. Now retired, Gary helps fly food, missionaries, and physicians to areas in need around the world. He also produces Christian films. Recently, he wrote, executive produced, and starred in the film Missionaire. The story is about relief workers who face the Mexican cartel to protect their mission and their lives.
Gary Heavin joins us now. Gary, welcome back to the 700 Club. It's great to see you.
Thank you, Wendy.
Okay, let's recap your story. You were a self-made man. You lost everything. What happened?
Well, the short version of it is I was a self-made man. It was about me. And God had to change the order of things. And I'm a slow learner, so he had to use some tough lessons to make it.
$5 million in debt. I mean, what did you do? Did you just throw it all away, or what happened?
Yeah, you start believing your own stuff.
Yeah.
And you begin to expand, and suddenly you realize that you don't know what you're doing. In my 20s, unfortunately, that I had the irrational exuberance, but not the wisdom to go along with it. But God uses those things and can change your life.
Well, what was the turnaround for you?
Well, I think I suffered sufficiently to be teachable. And
I mean, your first wife left.
Yeah, okay. Which I can't blame her. But God just kind of peeled away everything. First, my resources, marriage, and then my freedom. And that's how slow a learner I'm afraid I am.
Some of us are.
But he brought me to the point where I was teachable. And I'll tell you an interesting part of it, and I've shared this many times, was I got a hold of a book that Pat had written.
Okay.
And in The Secret Kingdom, he articulated those biblical values that I could grab a hold of.
Yeah.
A couple of them were simply telling the truth.
Sure.
Doing what you say, which is integrity.
Yeah.
And the power, the law of greatness, which is if you'd be great, you'd be a servant to others. So when I began to make things about them and not about me, my life changed.
That book has changed a lot of lives, Gary. And what, now you retired as the CEO of Curves. We all knew you as, when did you do that?
Well, a couple of years ago, my wife and I felt like the season had changed. And so we stepped out of the day-to-day business of Curves. However, I'm now the chairman of the board of Jenny Craig, as well as Curves. So I still have my hand in it, but I don't have to think about it every day.
So retired from Curves, but now producing films and acting in films. I watched Missionaire last night. It was phenomenal. You did a great job. Well, tell me, how did you get involved in filmmaking?
Well, we believe that God's given us an opportunity to influence the culture. We built Curves on those biblical principles that we believe would build a good business. And so as we step back, and I took a year away to really listen to what God would have for us, and he led us into the movie business.
It's amazing.
And it was an opportunity to influence the culture. And
we just saw a little clip there, but Missionaire is a story close to your heart because it's about a missionary pilot, and you're a pilot and flies relief aid into very dangerous areas. Tell us about that work that you're doing.
Well, flying is something that I have a passion for, and I'm a airline transport pilot with 13,500 hours, and I've been doing this for many years. And we've been sending food into Haiti since 10 days after the earthquake. So that was something that that was after my heart, and I believe God allowed me to share that experience. And the movie is a wonderful movie. It's about a missionary, a woman who goes into Mexico and does medical missionary work, and in the film, the bad guys, the banditos, try to steal her airplane, and so someone is inadvertently killed, and a kidnapper sent, and it stars Jamie Kennedy as the kidnapper, who's a terrific bad guy, and then Tom Arnold. Of all people, is comic relief. He's
very much the comic relief and fantastic in the movie, and I just had the opportunity to watch it last night. But what was it like working with Tom Arnold?
Well, my second acting scene in my life was Tom Arnold and myself. And talk about a challenge, because he's not following script. He's ab-living and being himself, and
There you
yeah, there he is. And it was a lot of fun, and just a joy to have this kind of experience in my life.
I mean, did you ever in a million years, especially, 20, 30 years ago when you were rock bottom, think, I'm not only going to be like writing movies, starring in movies, working with actors, and making such a huge impact on the culture? Did you ever think this would happen?
Yeah, not really. The movie business was kind of a surprise. I'm friends with Chuck Norris's son, Mike Norris, and we'd been friends for years. We've been talking about these kind of projects. But, I didn't know I could act.
Yeah.
And I kind of just went in front of the camera, and it was a very natural thing. And having the life experiences I have, you simply kind of go to that place, and it just flowed beautifully.
And not to give it away, but especially in the last scene where you're talking to the teenage girl, you can really feel your father's heart there. That was obviously coming from some sort of experience.
A teenage girl, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, Missionaire is a great movie, and
it's not based on a true story, though, right? It's just based on your love for flying and missionary work and things like that. Now, I understand that you wanted to fly wounded and sick orphans to hospitals, but surprisingly, you got some pushback from the U.S. government. Is that right?
10 days after the earthquake in Haiti, which is 4 years now, I believe, we got a call to bring doctors from Miami into Port-au-Prince, and then to take orphans to Miami to the Children's Hospital, and we were going to do that shuttle. And so we got there, and we took our first load of doctors in, and this place is devastated. There's no police, there's no lights, there's no water. The vapor from the smell of dead bodies filling the air. In fact, it was obscuring our landing as I came in. But President Obama decided that some of these orphans might be stolen, so he stopped the bringing the orphans back to Miami to the hospital. It was so frustrating. These children were laying on gurneys on the airport tarmac with amputations, with fevers, and we couldn't do anything with them. And it's a good example of what a poor job the government does in most things.
Well, back to the movie real quick for our last question. What do you hope people take away from Missionaire?
I hope people take away from Missionaire the evidence that biblical values, that hope and faith and trust, that God will protect people if they'll just trust Him.
Yeah. It's all about taking a risk, too. Yeah, I loved it. All right. Well, Missionaire is available on DVD and also through video on demand, and you can find out how to watch it by going to cbn.com. Gary Heavin, it's always a pleasure. Thanks so much for being with us and sharing this new adventure.